Repeat. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiraye nashta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishthiki krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha nanda gopa kumaraya govindaya namo namaha. Hare Krishna. So today is the concluding chapter in Bhagavan Kapil Dev's teachings. Next chapter we'll be speaking about the activities of the Lord Kapil Dev. But today is the concluding of Bhagavan's teaching, or this chapter marks the conclusion of Bhagavan's teaching. So, just so we are mentally prepared, what are we going to discuss today? So, the chapter is titled Entanglement in Fruitive Activities. This is the title of the chapter. And it is also titled, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has title, given a title, and other acharyas. So, other title for this chapter is Dhuma Marg and Archiradi Marg से जाने वालों की गति का और भक्ति योग की उत्कृष्टता का वर्णन. People who go, when they leave this body, they go by the sun path or they go by the moon path. These two paths. And the bhakti yoga is still the topmost. Is the topmost practice. So that again is reiterated by Bhagavan Kapil Dev in this chapter. Just so, once again, we get our focus right. What is it that Bhagavan Kapil is going to speak about in this chapter in the context of the whole teaching? So this is also, these teachings are also called Kapil Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, there are about 700 verses, but in this teaching, there are 500 plus verses, almost equivalent. In the first chapter, Mother Devahuti, 25 chapter number 325, Mother Devahuti asked some questions, and her main question was Prakrate Purushasya. Jignasayaham Prakrate Purushasya. Yeah. I want to know from you about the difference between Prakriti and Purush. Because Tam Tvagataham Sharanam Sharanyam Swabhritya Samsara Taro Kuthara. Because you are the only one whose shelter is to be taken. And you are so merciful that you cut the Sanskriti, the tree which is called Sanskriti of your devotees or people who are sacred to you. Namami Sadharma Vidam Varishta, and I bow down to you because you are the Varishta, you are the topmost knower. So that's where it started. And then in the 25th chapter, Lord Kapil Dev instructed Mother Devahuti about the glories of devotion service. Then in the next chapter, Bhagavan Kapil Dev spoke about Mahat Tattva, the creation from Mahat Tattva, then Ahankar, 5 material elements, 11 senses, Jiva, and all that creation, how that happens. Then in the next chapter, Bhagavan Kapil Dev spoke about the liberation of Jnana Yogis, which was 27. In the next chapter, Bhagavan Kapil Dev spoke about the liberation of people who are following Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga, which is chapter number 28. Then in chapter 29, Bhagavan Kapil Dev spoke about the various, you can say, the life and death of people who are entangled or who are performing sinful activities. Remember this word, sinful activities. Their whole life is gone how to unlawfully acquire the wealth to take care of the family, or to take care of their, or satisfy their own senses. Then what process they go through? Yeah? Liberation, bhakti, liberation, jnana yoga, liberation, ashtanga yoga, and people who are performing sinful activities, what they go through. And then what happens when somebody, when the jiva gets manushya yoni, which was last chapter. And there are very beautiful prayers, the prayers offered by child in the womb. And finally, so there was in the 31st chapter, and then what was the essence of the prayers? The child is saying, my dear Lord, I don't want to come back again in this material world. And the verse that we discussed last time was, Tasmad aham vigat viklava uddhrishya atmanam ashu tamse suhrad atmanaiva bhuyo yatha vyasanam etad anek randhram. Bhuyo yatha. So that I do not, randhram is called wounds. Anek randhram. Like this, I don't go from one womb to another womb. Yeah. Mame bhavishyad upsadita Vishnupada. How he can do that? The child is saying, by establishing the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu in my heart. And how he can do that? Suhrida Atmanaiva. Right? Suhrida, because being a friend of myself, using my intelligence, I can establish the lotus feet of Vishnu in my heart so that I don't have to take birth. So that was child in the womb. Now in this chapter, the Supreme Lord is going to talk about people who are performing their activities as per the Shastras. As per the Vedas, they are performing their activities. Because Vedas describe, if you want sense gratification, you can do this. If you want to detach, you can do this. So there are people who are performing. What is their gati? So this is the topic of this chapter, and this concludes the teaching of Bhagavan Kapil Dev. So people who go back from who go back from the path of sun, and people who go back from the path of moon, and where they go, what happens to them? That's what Bhagavan Kapil is going to speak. Yeah, okay. Now we're gonna take this verse. So please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Pravocam Bhakti Yogasya.
Pravocam Bhakti Yogasya.
Pravocam Bhakti Yogasya.
Pravocam Bhakti Yogasya.
Swarupam te chaturvidham.
Swarupam te chaturvidham.
Swarupam te chaturvidham.
Swarupam te chaturvidham.
Kalasya cha avyakta-gatir. Kalasya cha avyakta-gatir. Yo antardhavati jantushu. Yo antardhavati jantushu. Okay. Word by word translation. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Please repeat. Pravocham. Explained. Bhakti Yogasya. Of devotional service. Swarupam. The identity. Te. To you. Chaturvidham. In four divisions. Kalasya. Of time. cha, also, avyakta gate, the movement of which is imperceptible, yeah, which antarbhavati chases jantushu, the living entities. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki. Please repeat. My dear mother, I have explained to you the process of devotional service and its identity in 4 different social divisions. I have explained to you as well how eternal time is chasing the living entities, although it is imperceptible to them. Yeah, very important. So Bhagavan Kapil Dev is now concluding, like I said, his teachings, and he's telling Mother Devhuti that I've explained to you the process of devotional service and its identity in 4 different social divisions. Yeah. So just so you know, what are 4 social divisions? The bhakti you perform in the 3 modes, 3 different modes: mode of passion, mode of goodness, and mode of ignorance. You can perform. Bhakti yogo bahuvido marger bhamini bhapyate. Swabhav guna margena bhakti yogo vibhidyate. Bhagavan has already spoken that. Guna swabhav margena. What guna you have and what nature you have acquired because of those gunas. Based on that, your bhakti, your devotion service is different. Every jeev is different. So Bhagavan is saying, I'll explain to you. But of these 3, if somebody is nirguna, the topmost is nirgun. Nirgun does not mean impersonal here. Nirgun means which is not impacted by the moods. Shuddha sattva. Shuddha sattva. In that mode, you are performing devotion service. So Bhagavan is saying, I have spoken to that, and I have also spoken to you about the Kal. Kal, very important. Yo antardhavati jantushu. The Kal is chasing. Bhartri Hariji, he has written Vairagya Shatkam, and he's saying, Kalo na yato vayameva yato. Kal doesn't pass, we pass. We are passing. Kal is not passing. From the day we are born, the death is chasing us. The death has started. The countdown has begun. Isn't it? Like there is a date of birth, there is a date of death also. Death of expiry is also fixed. So that is chasing. Every day. Ayur harati vaipumsam udyanastan chayannasav. Tasyarite yat shanonika uttam shloka vataya. Shaunakadi Rishi, when they are asking Sut Goswami, he is quoting this verse. In a question, he is quoting this. He is saying, Ayur harati. Please focus on the word harati. Harati means something is stolen away from you without your knowledge. Remember this. It's taken away, but you don't know. We go in front of the mirror today, how am I looking? Okay, hairs are getting gray, just paint them, do something. How to fix myself? People go also fix their photos. They look different in a photo, they look different in person. So, but ayu is being taken away, stolen away without our knowledge. So similarly, Kal, Antardhavati. So Bhagavan is saying, I've spoken to you about that. This is the conclusion of his teachings. Maybe it's a very beautiful verse. We recite to Prabhuji, to Matajis. Please, let's recite here.
Pravocam bhakti yogasya
Pravocam bhakti yogasya
ते चतुर्विधम्
स्वरूपं ते चतुर्विधम्
कालस्य च अव्यक्तगतेर्
कालस्य च अव्यक्तगतिर्
यो अन्तर्भावति जन्तुषु
यो अन्तर्धावति जन्तुषु
प्रावोचं भक्तियोगस्य
प्रावोचं भक्तियोगस्य
ते चतुर्विधम्
स्वरूपं ते चतुर्विधम्
कालस्य च अव्यक्तगतिर्
कालस्य च अव्यक्तगतिर्
यो अन्तर्धावति जन्तुषु
यो अन्तर्धावति जन्तुषु Mataji want to try. Pravocam bhakti yogasya swarupam te chaturvidham kalasya cha avyakta-gatir yo antardhavati jantushu प्रावोचं भक्ति योगस्य स्वरूपं ते चतुर्विधम् कालस्य च अव्यक्तगतिर् यो अन्तर्धावति जन्तुषु very nice. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki. Please hear. The process of Bhakti Yoga, devotional service, is the main river flowing down towards the sea of the Absolute Truth. And all other processes mentioned are just like tributaries. Lord Kapil is summarizing the importance of the process of devotional service. Bhakti Yoga, as described before, is divided into four divisions. 3 in the material modes of nature and 1 in transcendence, which is untinged by the modes of material nature. Devotional service mixed with the modes of material nature is a means for material existence, whereas devotional service without desires for fruit
Prabhuji, you're muted.
I went to mute. Okay. I'll read the last line again. Devotional service mixed with the modes of material nature is a means of material existence, whereas devotional service without desires for fruitive result and without attempts for empirical philosophical research is pure transcendental devotional service. Srila Bhaktivedanta purports ki, let's please do Manglacharan and then we will discuss. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यं मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितान्तं सजीवं सावधैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत श्री राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे भूते महद्भिर्ययि मा पुरो विभो निर्मायशेते यदमोष पुरुष भुङ्क्ते गुणांशो दशषोडशात्मकम् सोऽलङ्कसृष्ट भगवान् वचांसि मे श्रीकृष्ण शरणागतं कथा अमृतं सतत पिबतम् भक्ति वेदांत मार्ग पंथनम सर्वलोक ऋषिदेव जन्म प्रसन्नम सर्वलोक ऋषिदेव जन्म प्रसन्नम। Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji. May the Supreme Lord please decorate my tongue. May the right words come at the right time. May we are truly able to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and all the Vaishnavas. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Hare Krishna. So, let me share my screen share. So, entanglement in fruitive activities, like I was saying. So, this chapter is divided into 8 sections, and Bhagwan Kapil Dev is first going to speak about attached workers. Remember what I said in the beginning? People who are performing their as per activities as per scriptural injunctions, but they have different desires. Some people are attached to the results of the activities they are performing. Some are performing without any detachment. So first Bhagavan talks about attached workers. What are their symptoms? What they are doing, right? So Bhagavan he's saying, and there are two type of you can say people are categorized in two categories who are living in their homes. They are called grihist and they are also called grihimedhi. So grihist are living in the household ashram as per the rules and regulations of the scriptures, and they want to perform all the activities for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. They are called grihasthas. And grihimedhi, they are performing all these activities for their own sense enjoyment. They are creating the things for their own sense enjoyment. So they are called grihimedhi. So now in the first verse, Bhagavan starts speaking, Athaye graha medhiyan dharman, right? Those, oh my dear mother, these Grahemedi and their dharma. What is their dharma? He says, Kamam Artham Cha Dharman. So their only dharma is Kam and Arth. There are four principles or four purpose, you can say, right? Four Purusharth that we say. What are they? Dharma, Arth, Kam, and Moksha. Right? You perform religious activities, you perform your dharma to gain some arth. You do your job. As a student, you study. As a housewife, you perform your duties. Right? So that gives you some arth. Arth does not mean money as in cash, but there is some arth, some purpose of that, right? You achieve that purpose. And after you achieve that purpose, then you enjoy, calm. You have the desires, right? And then those desires now can be to satisfy yourself or to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead or to your Guru Maharaj, right? Through this process, you attain moksha, or if you are trying to satisfy your own desires, now Bhagavan Kapil Dev says, they keep coming back, right? Because they want to do sense enjoyment. They perform the same activities again and again, right? So he's saying that dharman swan dogdi bhuya pipartita. Bhuya means again and again. My dear mother, those people who are grahmedi, their only dharma is dharma. By performing activities, attain earth and then enjoy. Calm and earth. That's their two things. When the person is sinful, he is not following any religious. He is by any means he wants to acquire the wealth. But in this case, in this chapter, they are performing as per the religious, as per the scriptures. They are not cheating anyone. They are doing their jobs, but the whole objective is to enjoy for sense gratification. Right? In their case, he is saying, my dear mother, because they want to enjoy, they perform all these activities, and they also get the result of performing these activities because they are following the scriptural injunctions. Then what happens to them? So through this process, he is saying, because Bhagavad Dharmat, because they have gone away from Bhagavad Dharma. And what they are called? They are called Kama Mudha. They have lusty desires to fulfill their lusty desires. Right? For that purpose, they are performing all these activities. And in their case, they have gone away from the Lord. Paran Mukha. They have turned their faces away from the Supreme Lord. But they are performing all these religious activities. Now, in this process, he says, my dear mother, they, instead of glorifying the Supreme Lord, they are glorifying various demigods. Pitrinscha, Devan Pitrinscha. They perform demigod worship. You worship Indra, you get this result. People go on Tuesday to glorify Hanumanji, they think that he will take away all your problems of life. Right? On Friday, people go to Mata's Mandir. On Monday, they go to worship Lord Shiva. Some people on Thursday worship Lord Brahma as well. Right? So like this, they are performing, they are doing these activities, but they have turned away from the Supreme Personality of God. Yeah? And then what happens to them? Then he says, my dear mother, because they are doing this, after performing these activities, they get elevated. They get elevated to their material desire planets as per their desires. If you perform good activities, you may go to heaven. They also go to, in this case, he's saying, my dear mother, they go to moon. They go to moon planet and there they drink somras. They drink somras, they stay there, they enjoy, and after their time finishes, then they have to come back again. And if somehow they are able to stay there, because all these material planets, when Brahmaji sleeps, all these material planets, the lower planetary system, they all get destroyed. So then they have to come back again. Right? So this is the gati of people who are the attached workers. Yeah? That's what happened to them. Yeah? And then Bhagavan goes to sleep. Shete Shaya Hari. when the Supreme Lord goes to sleep on the bed of serpent, then all of them, they go back inside the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then they have to come back again. So their cycle starts again. Similarly, like what Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Shane Punya Martya Lokum Vishanti, Tetam Bhaktva Sarva Lokam Vishalam, Shane Punya Martya Lokam Vishanti, Evam Trai Anuprapanna Gata Gatam Kam Kamalam. They go to heavenly planets. When their punya, it's like a prepaid mobile. The moment balance runs out, you can't make any call. Same thing happens with them. They go, their punya, completes, their account balance becomes zero, and then they come back again. Come back again, what happens? Krishna says, Evam Trai Anuprapanna. Prapanna is surrender. They surrender again to these three material modes. And Gata Gatam, Gat Agatam, die, Agat come back, die come back, Kam Kama Lavante, to fulfill their desires. Like this, they just keep rotating. So this is the gati of attached workers. Now in their own mind, there is nothing wrong with this, but this is what Bhagavan Kapil is saying. Then in the next he talks about the detached workers. Then he says, Ye swadharman na duhyanti dhira. Swadharman na duhyanti dhira. They are dhira, right? They are equipoised, they are calm. And they don't use their dharma, their constitutional position, or their position in the society to exploit. They don't perform these activities to gain for themselves. Right? Instead, and then Bhagavan also describes their quality. Kamartha hetave nisanga, who are not attached to the results of the activities they are performing. Right? If you go and worship, you are worshipping without any expectation. Yeah? Nisanga. Right? Then he says, Nyasta karmana. Right? So you are performing your karma, but the fruits, you are not expecting any fruits from that. Yeah? Prashantah Shuddha Chetasa. They are at complete peace, and their consciousness is pure consciousness, as in they are in Krishna consciousness. So these are some of the symptoms that Bhagavan is specifying, and they are nivritti dharma nirata. They are nivritti. Pravritti and nivritti. Pravritti means you are attached, and nivritti means you are not attached. They are nivritti dharma nirata, means nirat, constantly engaged into that. All of their endeavors are that I am not attached. They are performing their duties, and Prabhupada says Arjuna is the best example for that. Arjuna did not want to fight, whereas as a fighter, his duty was to fight, but he did not want to fight. But then he fought for Krishna, because Krishna told him you fight, and he did not get any results of killing those many soldiers. He killed thousands of soldiers of other army. Did he get any karam? No, because he was detached. He was working for Krishna. Yeah. And then he says, Nirmama nir ahamkrita. Yeah. They don't have any me and mine concept, and they also don't have any ahankar. Right? That I am doing this. I am the doer. They are always mindful that it is all done by Krishna, by the Supreme Personality. With that mindset, they are performing their activity. Swadharma aptena satvena parishuddhena. Yeah. Chetasam. Once again, their chetana is purified, their consciousness is purified. Yeah? They are performing. Then what happens to them? Then Bhagavan says, Surya dvaren te yanti purusham vishvato mukham. Surya dvaren. So there are two gatis, remember that. Shukla Krishna gati hi ete jagatat. Lord Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita 8.26, Shukla and Krishna gati. Also, it is said that people who leave their bodies in Shukla Paksh, that is called dark time. No, sorry.
No.
Bright half, and Krishna Paksh is dark half. If they leave their body, they go from the south on the Dakshin Marg, and who lives in the bright, like Bhishma Pitama, he waited for the sun to go into Uttarayana.
That's fine.
Yeah, Uttarayana. So, and then he left his body. But Srila Prabhupada says for the devotee, it does not matter. It is there. I mean, these concepts are there, but devotee, they don't get hung up in this. Devotees are above this. Nishtare gunyo bhavarjuna. That is why. Yeah? And that's what in the verse that we spoke about, the Prabhupada also mentioned that the fourth order of bhakti in the transcendence doesn't matter. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying. Ashlishya padaratam pinastu mam yatha tatha marma marmhat karotu va yatha tatha. My dear Lord, doesn't matter. Marmahatam karotu. You can break my heart, right? You can kick me, but I'm lying on your feet. Mad prana nath tusa eva na para. You are my only pranath. There is no one else. With that mood, the devotee is surrendered. Doesn't matter. Wherever you put me. Like Prabhupada, when he went to West, he wrote that famous prayer. Ani ache Prabhu yadi amar nachate. Nachao so Prabhu, nachao se mate. Oh my dear Lord, if you have brought me here to dance like a doll, make me dance. Nachao Prabhu, nachao se mate. However you want to make me dance, I will dance. Bhakti nai veda nai name khub daro. Bhakti Vedanta Nam Eve Sarthak Karo. You have given me Bhakti Vedanta name. I don't have any bhakti, I don't have any knowledge. But now you prove that I am in your shelter. And did Krishna not prove? Krishna proved that. So that's the mood of devotee. Right? That's what Bhagavan is saying. Nirata, yeah. Nivrati dharma nirata. Right? Without any attachment, they are called detached workers. And when they go to Surya Margena te yanti, they go by the way of Surya Marg. So these are two gatis, Dhum Marg and Archi Marg. So Archi Marg is you going by the Sun Marg, and Dhum Marg is you are going by the Dakshin Marg. Dakshin Marg, they normally go to the Pitralok. Right? They go to the Pitralok. We'll talk a little bit more about it. But these are the two broader these things. Yeah. And then that's Purusham Vishwato Mukha. Bhagavan also says that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purusham Vishwato Mukham, from whose body this universe has come about. That Supreme Lord. No some, no some ordinary person, no some demigod, not Brahmaji, not any Indra, right? Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, Ye api anya devata bhakta yajante shraddhaya anvita. Te api mamev kaunte yajante avidhi purvakam. Bhagavan Krishna is saying, O Arjun, O Kunti Putra, O Meri Bua Kunti ke bete. See, he's referring to him as a cousin. This shows some relationship, right? It's like, O Mere Bhai. This is how Krishna is guiding Arjun, right? Like, Ye api anya devata bhakta, whoever is worshipping all these demigods, yajante shraddhaya anvita, with full faith, with full shraddha. Te api mamev kaunte. Oh Arjun, they are actually worshipping me only, indirectly, even though they are worshipping avidhipur. They are not following the right process, but they are indirectly worshipping me. Yeah. So that Supreme Purusham Vishwato Mukham Paravaresham Prakritim Asyo Utpatti Anta Bhavanam. Paravaresham, who is the Ishwar of Para and Apara, both material and transcendental worlds, who is the Ishwar. Utpatti Anta Bhavanam, and who is the cause of the creation of this material universe and also the end of this material universe. That's Supreme Lord, right? So they go to that detached workers. So first is attached workers. You understand what is their gati? they come back. But detached workers, they go to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these are in the grahast, people living, people like us. Understand? Then Supreme Lord goes on to talk about Hiranyagarbha worshippers. Who is Hiranyagarbha? Brahmaji. So some people, they also worship Brahmaji. Right? Like Hiranyakashipu, he worshipped Brahmaji. Brahmaji had to come and give him the boon. Right? A lot of time Brahmaji came and he has given boon to various, worshippers. You must have heard that. And like Ravan worshipped Lord Shiva. So then all the demigods also who appeared from Brahma, you can say indirectly, they are worshipping Hiranyagarbha. What happens to them? So here Bhagavan says that Dviparardha vasane yah pralyo brahmanastute. Right? Now what happens to them? So Bhagavan says, my dear mother, who are worshipping Brahmaji, yogis, those yogis, some people worship Brahmaji for to get certain boons. They get those boons and they are back to their business. Like Meghnad asked for a boon. He got his boon and then he went about his activity. Now some yogis, or the yogis who are meditating on the Supreme Lord who is within their heart, those yogis, they get promoted to the Satyalok, which is the topmost planet. Yeah? Which is the topmost planet in the planetary system. Bhulok, Bhuvarlok, Maharlok, yeah, Swarg, yeah, and then Janalok, Tapalok, and Satyalok, topmost. That's all. That's Brahmaji is about. Yeah, Satyalok. Yeah. So they get promoted to that lok. Now, Bhagavan Kapil Dev says, my dear mother, they go to Brahmaji's abode, and what they do, those yogis, they spend time there with Brahmaji. And there also they are doing the same practice, what they were doing here, yoga, meditating on the Paramatma within the heart, right? They continue doing that for many, many years there. Now there is a question, why don't they get liberated? It is said that they still have certain level of abhiman, ahankar, that I am performing this austerity. And they are not directly trying to attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead or worship Him, right? Because they are trying this different process, Dhyana Yoga, right? So like this, Bhagavan Kapil says, my dear mother, they go to Brahmaji's abode. There also they are performing, they are meditating on the Supreme Lord. Now Brahmaji lives for 100 years. You might think, oh, one Chaturayuga is what? 43 million? Roughly. One Chaturayuga is 43 million. Right? In one Kalp, how many Chaturayugas? 1,000. Right? 1,000 Chaturayugas. That is Brahma's one day. 43 million times 1,000. Then 1,000 Brahmajis like night. Like this. Now you must be thinking, for that long they are performing sadhana there, but no. That is still Brahma's 100 years. It is same as 100 years for you here. You see 100 years, we say, oh, pata hi nahi laga. We don't even know how 50 years have passed, where life has gone. Same also there 100 years. For an ant, our lifespan will look like very big. A mosquito will think, oh, these human beings, they're living for so long. Right? So similarly, we are mosquitoes, ant as compared to people living on the Satyalok planet. But they also have their time. So they do that service. And then Bhagavan Kapil Dev says, then at the time of dissolution, they get merged into Brahmaji's body. Those yogis, they get merged into Brahmaji's bodies, and with Brahmaji, they all attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, there is a bit technical here. In some cases, Brahmaji also has to come back. Some people say for Brahmaji, this is the last. From there he has attained the Supreme Lord. It's a little bit complicated to detail. So let's not get into that. So let's just focus on the gati of living entities. Let's not worry about what happens to Brahma. Let's worry about what is going to happen to us. Right? Right? In the purport, Prabhupada has very clearly said, don't do mental research. Don't try to do this too much research, because with this, you won't get anything. Anyway, so now Bhagavan says they get merged into Brahmaji, and then at the time of dissolution, along with the universe, they enter into the body of Mahavishnu. Right? Yasheka nishvasita kalamathavalambhe. Right? Just one breath, the universes go out, universes go back. Right? And they go into the body of the Mahavishnu. Right? But then for them also, Bhagavan says, my dear mother, those yogis also have to come back. Some of them also have to come back. It depends on what their intention was at the time of performing the sadhana. When the universe comes out, along in that universe, they also come out. Sanat Kumars also come out. The Saptarishi sometimes are repeated. They were one of the Saptarishi. He was there in this kalp, in this creation. He will be in the next creation also. So like this, the rotation happens. So what Bhagwan Kapil Dev is telling Mother Dev, which is my dear mother, even they go and they have to come back. Now, as if mother is asking, then Bhagwan, what shall we do? What is your instruction? So then Bhagwan tells mother, said, Atham tam sarva bhutanam hrit padmeshu kritalayam. Athatam sarva bhutanam hrit padmeshu kritalayam shrutanubhavam shranam vraja bhavena bhavini. O Bhavini, O my dear mother, therefore, right? That Supreme Lord who is situated in the lotus of every living entity. Hrit Padmeshu Bhutan. Hrit Padmeshu. Right? In the lotus of everyone's heart, that Supreme Lord is there. Right? Shrutanubhav. So therefore, listen to him. Listen about him with full bhav. With full mood of surrender. Listen to him. Right? So now the point is that Supreme Lord is not far away. He's in everyone's heart. He's there inside you also. Right? But we are not listening about him. We are not developing that bhav of surrender to him. Right? And there is one conception I was hearing. Sometimes we think, I have performed 100 sins. Now I have to wait for those 100 sins to be destroyed, to be purified. But it is said that those sins can be purified within a moment. Somebody asked Prabhupada, how much time does it take to get liberation? But Prabhupada said, few seconds. Or he said, just like, he said, very quick. It is like if there is darkness in this room for 10 years, how the light will come? If you press the switch once, the light come immediately. Does it take time? It does not mean it was dark for 10 years. It will take 10 years for light to switch on. The light can be switched on straight away. That is why when concluding Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in the 11th canto, what is that verse? Please repeat. Sankirtamano Bhagavan Ananta.
Sankirtamano Bhagavan Ananta.
Shrutanubhavo Vyasanam hi pumsam.
Shrutanubhavo Vyasanam hi
Pravesya chittam vidunoti shesham. Pravesya chittam vidunoti shesham. Vidunoti shesham yatha tamarko brahma iva ativata. Yatha tamarko brahma iva ativata. So what Sut Goswami is saying is, Sankirtamano Bhagavan Ananta. That Bhagavan who is Anant. If we are doing his Sankirtan like we are doing now, if we all glorify him together, then what happens? Vyasnam hi pumsam. And then another important point, Shrutanubhav. That's what Bhagavan Kapil Dev is saying here also, that my dear mother, Shrutanubhavam Sharanam Vrajan. Shrutanubhavam Sharanam Vrajan. You go and surrender to him with full mood of surrender by hearing. Yeah. Similarly, if we hear that Vyasnam hi pumsa, all these vyasans, like unborn child is saying his vyasan is taking birth again. As an adult, our vyasan is sense gratification, greed, envy, all those things, they're our vyasan. What does it do? When we do Sankirtan together, vidhunoti ashesham, pravishya chitte vidhunoti ashesham. We just have to chant his name and the Supreme Lord enters into our heart. Chittam, in our Chaitana. When he enters our Chaitana, vidhunoti ashesham, he cleans our heart. Like what? Ashesham, nothing remains. जैसे आप बोलते हो सारा प्रसाद चट कर दिया, all prasadam plate is gone. Similarly, Supreme Lord enters and he cleans the heart of his pure devotee. Ashesham, zero, nothing is left there. And then analogy is given. How? Yatha tamo arko. As sun comes, the night goes. The night was for 8 hours, but the moment sun comes, everything goes. Right? That is the point to understand. Straight away. That light, we just have to let the light enter into our heart by chanting so right? And another analogy, Brahma iva attivata, like a strong wind takes away all the clouds. Similarly, all the sins gets destroyed within a moment, and you get purified. Right? So that's how it works. So that's why now Bhagavan is saying, my dear mother, after describing Sakam, attached workers, detached workers, people trying to go to Hiranyagar, worshipping Hiranyagar, Bhagavan says, as his mother is asking, Bhagavan, then what shall I do? Then he says, my dear mother, just glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shrutanubhavam Sharanam Vraja Bhavena Bhavini. O Bhamini, O my dear mother, O noble lady, बस उस भगवान के बारे में सुन, just hear about that Supreme Personality of Godhead with full faith, with full surrender. Yeah. Then let's go to the, so Hiranyagarbha worshippers, that's what happens. Then another thing Bhagwan Kapil says here is that even though Brahma Purusham Purusha Arshabha Yatha Purvam Prajayate, very important. He's saying even though they are able to attain Purusha Arshabha, who is the first Purusha incarnation? Who is the first Purusha incarnation? Mahavishnu. You also attain first Purusha incarnation, by the way. You all attain first Purusha incarnation. But he's talking about the Hiranyagarbha worshippers for now, who are qualified to go to that planet, Satyalok. They again, Prajayate, Yatha Purvam Prajayate, my dear mother, they again take birth like before. They have to come back again. So that's their gati. Okay? And then why did not they were able to get the God? So then he says, Bhed Drashtya Abhimanena. So this is Bhagwan's word. Bhed Drashtya. They thought themselves to be independent of the Supreme Lord. That is the Bhed Drashti. There was a little bit of tinge of Abhiman. Ahankara was there. So they have what to speak of us. We are not. They are those exalted. But Bhakti Marg is a very shortcut. Right? Like, Navyogendra is telling Maharaj Nimi, Bhakti Marg is like that. Even if you run with both the eyes closed, you will still not fall down on this marg. This is that path. You are running with your eyes closed. Are you not going to fall and stumble upon something? But in Bhakti Marg, they are saying, no risk at all whatsoever. Just run. Even if your eyes closed. And Guru Maharaj says those two eyes are Shruti and Smriti. If you haven't studied, if you don't know about the Vedas and Puranas, that's no problem. Just perform bhakti and just keep running with your eyes closed and you'll be living. Yeah? So that's that. And now, Bhagwan Kapil now he talks about he's criticizing a little bit. He criticized the sakam karma, right? And why he's criticizing is because a lot of the time, I mean, obviously, like I said in the beginning, attached workers, they're performing their activities as per the scriptural injunctions. Because as per the Vedas, they're not performing sinful acts, but they are performing these activities with some level of attachment. Yeah, so Bhagavan is saying, Te tu asakt manasa kurvanti pratisiddhani. Asakt manasa kurvanti pratisiddhani. Pratisiddhani means they want to expect the results. They're expecting the results of their activities, and with that mood, my dear mother, they are performing these activities. And when they are performing these activities, now he is saying those people are classified as Trayvargikaste. Trayvargikaste means dharma, arth, and kam. They don't care about the moksha at all. Rather, moksha is not in their dictionary. They don't care about moksha. They just perform about, and they are vimukha hari medhasa. Same thing. They have turned away from the Supreme Personality of God. Yeah? And they shranava. Yeah. Shranvanti asad gatha. And they are listening asad katha. Asad gatha means gramya katha. Gossips. Right? Rather than they have turned away vimukha hari medhasa. Shranvanti asad gatha. And they are listening asat katha. They are engaged in that. And the Supreme Lord goes on to compare them to the people or to the animals like stool eaters. So they are compared to the stool eaters, my dear mother, because they have turned away from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then what happens to them? He says, Dakshinena pathar anamme pitrilokam vrajanti. From the Dakshin, from the south side, they go to Pitrilok, my dear mother. So this is called the Dhum Marg, like I was saying. They go to Pitriloks. Right? The first one, they go to moon planet, that is called Devayana, Devamar. Moon planet, Swarga, Satyalok, all that. But this is called, that is, what is that mark?
Sorry, Archimar.
Archimar. Through Archimar, they're going there, but this is.
Archimar is the sun mark.
Say again?
Archimar is sun mark, as you said.
Sun mark, yes. They still go to higher planets, you can say. But from this, they are going to this Pitrilok, from the south direction. Especially these people who are Hari Vimukh and who doesn't care about the moksha. The Supreme Lord is a bit critical about them. Once again, he's trying to teach us through these teachings. He's telling us, my dear mother, they go to that. And not just that. He says they are so much attached, they are born again in the same family. They are born Praja Manu Prajayante Samshan Ant Kriyakrita. Praja Manu Prajayante. My dear mother, they are born again in the same family. Sometimes you hear stories like that the son is getting birth in the forms like somebody passed away in our family, and that this person is born into the same family. They remember some of the past things. There have been these incidents. Because the trouble is there is no moksha in their activities. They're performing all these activities, but there is no moksha. Right? And that's what happens to them. And then says, Tataste Shena Sukrita Punar Lokam Imam Patanti Vivasha Daiva. When they're punya, when they're these pious activities, they are so engaged in, forefathers and demigods. Like every year they are performing these ceremonies, they're doing pindadan, they're doing all these activities. Some people arrange big, like, Barsi, they celebrate, they do all of that. I mean, there is nothing wrong in that. Please don't take it that way. But with what mood you are doing? Is it a mood to please the Supreme Lord? Or is it a mood to please the forefathers? Or for the liberation of the forefathers? Yeah. So that is something we need to check ourselves. Where my mood is, where my thought is, where my heart is. With what mood am I doing these activities? And then Bhagavan is saying, Vivasha Devai Patanti. They have to come back again. Then once again, as his mother Devuti is asking, that then, my dear Lord, what shall I do? Then again he reiterates the same fact. He said, Tasmat Tvam Sarabhavena Bhajasava Parmeshtitam. Tad Guna Ashraya Bhaktaya Bhajaniya Padambujam. Once again, then, my dear mother, that Supreme Lord who is the Bhajaniya, who is to be worshipped, his lotus feet, Padambujam, right? That Supreme Lord, my dear mother, who is the only worshipable, who is only should be worshipped, right? May we worship, or may everyone, we should worship the lotus feet of that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tasmat Tvam Sarva Bhavena. With all the mood, right? Once again, worship that. So again and again, at every point, Bhagavan is trying to reinforce the point about worshipping the Supreme Personality of God. And then, as his mother is asking, usko bhajne se kya hoga? What will happen? Then Bhagavan says, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janyateshu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Yat Brahma Darshanam. In the second chapter, first canto, the same Jnanam Chayat Ahetukam, there it is said Ahetukam, but here Bhagavan is saying Jnanam Brahma Darshanam, right? Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita. Oh, my dear mother, if we perform devotional service to Bhagavan Vasudev, right? And by performing that, what happens? Janyateshu Vairagya. The detachment automatically comes. You don't have to make a separate endeavor. Sometimes you see people ask questions, Prabhu ji, detachment nahi ho raha hai. Prabhu ji, abhi bhi man mein yahi laga rehta hai. I'm always thinking of the family. I'm thinking about these people's welfare, always concerned about it. But here Bhagavan is reassuring the process. He says, you just perform your devotional service. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita. Prayojan yahi hai bas. That is the only prayojan. To perform devotional service to Bhagavan Vasudeva. Like you have just come here to listen Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Like Lata Mataji and Bijana Mataji, Kavita Mataji online. They are listening Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. That's the only provision. Now everything else is taken care by the Supreme Lord. Like the verse that we discussed. Shrutanu bhavo vesnam hi pumsam pravishya chitte vidunoti shesha. The Supreme Lord will enter your heart automatically. You won't have to monitor. Bhagavan aaye kya? Bhagavan nahi aaya. Is he in my heart? Is he not in my heart? Even without your knowledge, he will enter automatically. You understand the process? So Bhagavan is making it very clear. He has spoken about the gati of attached workers, unattached workers, people worshipping Hiranyagarbha, people, worshipping forefathers and demigods. After every step, he is reinforcing that same thing. And then, my dear mother, you don't have to worry about it. Detachment will come automatically. Jnana will also come automatically. You don't have to study the scriptures and everything. Jnana will come automatically from inside. And that knowledge will be like Brahma Darshanam. This is for people who are following Jnana Marg and who want to take the darshan of Brahma. Who are worshipping for Brahman. So for them also Bhagavan is saying, my dear mother, they will get the darshan of Brahman, not just Brahman. They will get the darshan of Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahman is inside him only. Understand? Three things we all know that, right? Bhagavan, Paramatma and Brahman. In this first canto, second chapter, Sutta Goswami is telling, Jivasya Tattva Jignasa. Jeev ka dharm, the main duty of the jiva is to tattva jignasa. And then as if they are asking, what is that tattva? You saying tattva jignasa, what is that tattva, Sutta Goswami? And then Sutta Goswami says, Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam jnanam chayat advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwaneti shabda. That tattva is what? जो तत्व को जानने वाले हैं, people who are knower of the tattva, who understood the tattva, as per their definition, the tattva is classified into three. It's called Brahma, which is the effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is called Paramatma, the Supreme Lord who is residing in everybody's heart. The yogis, they are meditating on that, Paramatma. And then Bhagavan. So Bhagavan has Paramatma feature as well as Brahma feature, both. Right? So that's what Bhagavan Kapila is telling his mother, that you should do that. So Lord Kapila, Bhagavan criticized that. Actually, we already went into the next section. By bhakti, goals of other paths are also achieved. Yeah, Jannateshu Vairagya. And then Bhagavan says, conclude this section. Very important. He says, Jnana Matram Param Brahma Paramatmeshwara Puman. That Supreme Lord, He is the Jnana. He is the Paramatma. He is the Param Brahma. He is the Parameshwar. He is the Super Soul. Then what is the difference? Drishyadibhi. The different ways of looking at it. The different ways of perceiving that Supreme Lord. Right? Prithag bhaver Bhagwan ek iyate. That Bhagwan is only one. But with prithag bhav, with different bhav, we see him differently. You know, yogis are meditating on that Paramatma, Jnanis are trying to differentiate that. Right? So like this, Bhagwan is ek iyate. Bhagwan ek iyate. But he's perceived differently depending on the bhav of the devotee who is worshipped. Otherwise, he is Gyan Matram, he is the Gyan. He is the Paramatma, he is the Super Soul, he is the Parameshwar, he is everything. But depending on the bhav, he is perceived differently. Yeah. By bhakti yoga. But he says, Bhagwan, by bhakti, the goals of other paths are also achieved, my dear mother. Then Bhagwan Kapil speaks a little bit on the Gyan, and then basically Bhagwan is talking about, you know, how some people in one of the verse, Bhagwan is speaking about that, like some people say this is all false. Some people say this is all false. You know, this does not exist. But Bhagwan says that, my dear mother, the way we have to look at this is, this Mahat Tattva has come from whom? From Supreme Lord. Then from that, the 5 gross elements, 3 material modes, right? Then Ahankar, 5 gross elements, senses, 5 working senses, 5 intelligent, that knowledge acquiring senses, the mind, all of this has come from that. So how can it be different from the Supreme Lord? So now this is a little bit deep philosophy that Bhagavan is speaking. But what Bhagavan is saying that, my dear mother, there should not be any discrimination at some level, because it all has come from the Supreme Lord. So this is also Supreme Lord. Even though it is impermanent, but this is not false. Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, Anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvama. Arjun, I agree, this is anitya, this is impermanent, asukham, this is full of miseries, but it exists. Imam prapya, because you have come here, the best thing to do is bhajasvama, perform devotional service to me. So what Bhagavan is saying that, my dear mother, this is not false, this is true. Maya is also a potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his energy. So when everything has come from him, then how can it is false? It is real, it does exist. But then as if mother is asking, but my dear Lord, how do I perceive that to not be false? And then the Supreme Lord answers, Etad vai shraddhaya bhaktaya yoga abhyasena. Etad vai as in certainly, shraddhaya, with full faith, yoga abhyasena, by practicing of yoga, right? Nitya regular practice, yeah? Samahit Atma Nisango Viraktaya Paripashyati. You'll be able to see this equal to me, my dear mother, or whoever tries, they'll be able to see it equal to me if they have arranged themselves in this way. In what way? So that Bhagavan is answering. Nityasha, all the time, right? Shraddhaya, with full faith, right? Bhaktaya, yoga abhyasena, by the practice of yoga system. Samahit Atma, with fully focused. Nisango, without any detachment. Only then, my dear mother, they'll be able to see this universe as equal to me. Or they will be able to perceive me in other living entities. Only by that process. Right? Now, Bhagavan, he speaks further about it. And the very nice analogy given is, and Bhagavan is saying, Yathendriyai prithak dwarer artho bahu gunashraya. Very important. Yathendriyai bahu dwarer. How if the same thing is perceived differently by different senses? But thing is only one. Take, for example, milk. If you perceive milk from your ears, you will say, oh, I hear there is some milk. If you perceive ear from the eyes, oh yes, I can see milk, it is white and it is fluid. Then you say, I perceive milk from my nose, sense of smell. You say, yeah, this is milk, it has nice aroma. So you are hearing about the milk, you are smelling the milk, you are seeing the milk, and then you also touch it. Oh yes, this is liquid, the milk, it is cold. And then you taste the milk. When you taste the milk, then you get the maximum benefit, or when you drink the milk, or if you're just looking at, oh, this is milk, this is milk. If somebody puts gulab jamun in front of you, look there, gulab jamun. Look there, gulab jamun. Right? Yeah, you're looking. Yes, I'm looking. But when you get maximum benefit, when you eat one. So same analogy Bhagavan is giving. Yathendriyai prithak dwarer artho bahu gunashraya. Same object, my dear mother, as perceived by different senses, appear different. Eko na anyate tadvad Bhagavan shastra vartamabhi. Shastra vartamabhi. Yeah? Like this, my dear mother, from the shastric, from the scriptural evidence, people see, I mean, once again, he's referring to the scriptures, like Brahma, Paramatma, right? People read and then they get hung up on that one particular explanation and they start perceiving the Supreme Lord like that. And mind you, how you perceive, he will not have same perception. He has, why he will be different? Swabhava guna margena bhakti yogo vibhidyate. Because you have acquired a particular swabhav based on your situation in the gunas, how you are impacted by the mode of material modes. So you all have different. So similarly, Bhagavan Kapil Dev is saying that, my dear mother, there is one Lord, but he is perceived differently, even though as per scriptures, you read in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 11th canto, 22nd chapter, conversation between Uddhav and Bhagavan Krishna is happening. And there they are talking about how many elements are there. Uddhav asks, and some are saying there are 7, some are saying there are 13, some are saying there are 18, some are saying there are 21, some are saying there are 25. You understand? Like 5 working senses, 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 material, gross material elements, how many? 15, right? And then 5 object of senses, then mind, then intelligence, false ego, soul, and super soul. 25. Some people, they don't count the object of senses. Some acharyas, some rishis, they don't count them, object of senses. So they say there are only 15 or 17. So Krishna tells Uddhav, they are all right. Because they have perceived that much only. So in their right, in their own, this thing they're right. Nothing wrong in that. Right? Yeah. So that's what Bhagavan is saying, Shastra Vartmati. Right? And then he tells his mother that, my dear mother, now I have spoken to you. So what is the next chapter? Various paths ultimately to realize Bhagwan. So this is just be concluded. Yeah. And then today's verse. And then after speaking all of this, the Supreme Lord then tells his mother that, my dear mother, the what I have spoken, Chaturvidham. Yeah. Provacham bhakti yogasya
Bhakti yogasya
swarupam te chaturvidham.
Swarupam te chaturvidham
Kalasya cha avyakta gatir yo antar dhavati jantushu. So he's saying, my dear mother, now I have described to you the 4 processes of devotional service. I have described to you. I've also described to you about the Kal. And then he says that to realize the Bhagavan. Once again, the Lord elaborates on this. So everybody has different ways, and everybody can realize by performing fruitive activities, sacrifices, distributing charity, austerities, studying various literatures, philosophical research, controlling the mind, subduing the senses, accepting the renounced order. So like this, all these practices are there. Similarly, in our movement, when Srila Prabhupada, various devotees came, somebody has a quality to clean. Somebody has quality to make garlands, to dress the deities. Somebody has qualities to cook the prasadam. Somebody has qualities to call the people, to phone them. Even if they stop receiving their calls, इतने ढीठ हो जाते हैं लोग, फिर भी नहीं छोड़ते. In their mind, they are saying this, but the devotee is fixed in his service. Doesn't matter. I'm doing it for Krishna. No matter. No matter whatever you say, I will keep doing it. So like this, Bhagwan Kapil Dev is telling, my dear mother, there are various ways. And then qualification to receive this knowledge. Like I said to you, this is Kapil Gita. In the end, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan or Krishna also tells Arjuna that this knowledge is not to be discussed with the people who are envious. Right? You will see just now Bhagwan is saying, please see me in everyone. And now you are talking about, now he himself is talking about the discrimination, right? Question will come. So the point is, some level of discrimination is to be done. It is not, you are not discriminating in the bad sense. If you want to put a 4 student in a PhD class, will it work? Right? They will fail, and they will fail others also. Right? So that is the whole point. They are not ready yet. They are not ready for that science, so they can do some other service. It is like somebody who doesn't know cooking and he say, I want to cook. So those people are asked, you first start by cleaning the shoes, maintaining the shoe rack, cleaning the floor. Like this, depending on the qualification, because we all have certain qualifications. Right? Because Shastra says, ayogya purusho na asti. There is no one who is useless. Yojakas tatra durlabha. Rather, the person to make best use of them is difficult to find, but everybody has certain qualities. So like this. But still, so Bhagavan is saying, this instruction is not meant for envious, agnostic persons who are unclean in their behavior, hypocrites, who are proud of material possessions, too greedy, too attached to family life, non-devotees, and who are envious of the devotees and of the personality of God. Then as mother is asking, then Bhagavan, who is eligible? Whom should this knowledge be given? So Bhagavan answers that also. He says this instruction should be given to the faithful devotee who is respectful to the spiritual master, non-envious, friendly to all kind of living entities, eager to render service with faith and sincerity, and who has taken Supreme Personality of Godhead to be more dear than anything, and who are not envious of anyone, perfectly cleansed, and have developed detachment for that which is outside the purview of Krishna consciousness. Detachment for that which is outside the purview of Krishna consciousness. They are eligible to receive this knowledge. Okay? So our endeavor and effort has to be, how do I become eligible for that? Right? We have to develop that mood. Right? And that mood can once again be developed, Prabhuji Mataji, through satsang. Through satsang only. संगत से गुण होत है, संगत से गुण जात. By association, we get gunas, we get good qualities. By association, we get bad qualities also, and the good qualities go away. Yeah? There is, and the analogy given is फांस बांस और मिश्री एक ही भाव विकार. I don't know what is the first word. Baas or misri. You know, in a basket, you put some fruits and you pack it. Then when you go to purchase this thing from the market, do you say, no, I don't want the basket. The basket comes with the fruits. The packing comes with the material. So packing is made up of cardboard, but packing is also coming with the goods. So similarly, if we try to hold on to each other, through that association, we'll be able to hold on to the dhoti of Srila Prabhupada or our Guru Maharaj, and then we all will be able to take each other on a journey. I can't say ultimate destination, but at least we can progress on this path of devotions. So that's how it works. And then finally, Falashruti. So Bhagavan, now Kapil Dev concludes and he says, Ya idam shranu shranuyad amba shradhaya purusha sakrite. Yeah. Shraddhaya Purusha. Oh, my mother, Amba. See, Bhagavan calling Mother Devhuti, who is sitting in front of him on the floor, begging him to give him the knowledge. And Bhagavan is saying, oh, my Amba, oh, my mother. Who hears this Shraddhaya, like you all have heard this in last as many sessions we have. Shraddhaya Purusha. Sakrit. Immediately, right? And then not just hearing. Then he says, Yova Abhidhatte, or who repeats this. By hearing, either you hear or by hearing, you repeats this. Mat chitta sahi eti padavim cha me. Right? My dear mother, they attain the same padavi like as me. Those who just hear this. So this is the Shrutifal of this these texts called Kapila Gita. We'll stop here now. We might give 5 minutes. Last time, one Prabhuji suggested, Prabhu, this is such a complex, teaching. Maybe people have their own realization. We should give few minutes for Q&A towards the end. But all the time, I try to shorten the time. The time gets longer. I hope, it is not boring. And you are able to relish this and connect yourself. I'll stop sharing now. And yeah, so